All right, so if you're just joining us, this is the State Library and Other Salted Integrations. Kristoffer, hey.
Oh, what do we have here now? Why can't I hear you? What is this again?
Let's see. Look and all right. If you guys
I
in
can't
the
hear you. No.
Okay. If anyone in the chat could confirm they can hear Kristoffer, I hear you.
I can't hear you at all. I don't understand.
Okay.
Okay.
They hear both
You can
of
hear
us.
everyone. That's great.
That's what matters.
Excellent. So let's see.
We'll give him a minute to configure his audio. All right, if you're just joining us, this is the State Library and Other Salted Integrations. And we'll start in just a few minutes. We thought we'd have access to the session a few minutes early before everyone else, so we might still be getting our computers, ready here. So thanks for your patience. The doors open up for everyone at the same time, so let's see. Yeah, keeping us on our toes. That's right. Let's see. So just a quick, I assume everyone's in the right place, but let's see. All right, so quick description of this. Oh, you're back. Let's see, I can't hear you, Kristoffer. No. Video looks good. I can't hear you, sorry. So for those just joining, this is the State Library and Other Salted Integrations. The description here, I'll just, while Kristoffer gets his audio and video working, it says the State Library is a documentation solution for your SaltStack state file. Using the TSL doc section in your state files, pillar grains, and include usage extractions. We're giving a sneak peek into the salted Atlassian integrations. Oh, looks like he's joining on another computer. Let me add him back. Let's see.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, excellent, cool.
Perfect.
So there might be a slight echo in the background because I had to switch around the microphones and stuff, but if you can correct, if you can't hear me, just let me know. Yeah.
Yes. No, that sounds fine. Cool. All right. Let me see. All right. We'll give folks just one more minute to come in here. Thanks for your patience. We think we're getting there. All right. So my name is Dave, and I'm on the Enterprise Salt product team now at VMware. And thanks for your patience as we got the technology together. While you're waiting, you can say hi in the chat. And so welcome to the session of the State Library and Other Salted Integrations with Kristoffer. We're so glad that you're here to learn about this topic. Before we get started, some things you can zoom in on the screen by double-clicking on it, and feel free to ask questions in the chat. If you can kind of start with a question in your message, then I'll be sure to kind of grab that And if there is time at the end, then we'll go through the questions with Kristoffer. I think that is it. All right.
Cool.
Kristoffer, you want to share your screen, make sure that works?
Yeah, sure. Let me do that. And we do this one. And if I do like this, hopefully. Hopefully you should be able to see that full screen now. Maybe?
Yep, perfect. Yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
real quick. Yep. So Kristoffer has 20 years of fiddling in the sphere of configuration, release, and automation. The last 5 of it with SaltStack. Excited to hear from Kristoffer, and I'll drop and hand it over to you.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Thank you. So first of all, thank you for attending today. Sorry for the little bit of delay that we had. It was new technology and stuff like that, but we got there in the end. As I said, I had to move around the mic a little bit, so if you have problems hearing me, just flag it on the chat, please, and they will ping me. So I'm pleased to be here today to present the state library, and it's a documentation solution for state files. The agenda today. We will introduce myself. Like Dave said, I've been fiddling with this types of things for 20 years, long time, but last 5 or so with Salt. So brief introduction of myself, the company, what the challenge we have, what we think is the solution. Some of the features, we will have a stab at doing a bit of a demo, and towards the end, we will do a sneak peek on some other sorted integrations that we are offering and working on. So,
Chris, real quick, if I could you zoom in and kind of present the slides, just because so those later that are watching the recording can see the slides full screen. That'd be great.
Okay, so you cannot. Okay, let me do. Okay, sorry, you cannot see it full screen. So let me do this then. Just a second.
Yep,
just a second. We'll do like this. Give me a second, and we will do this one. Sure. And if I do like that.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah. So now it's full screen for everyone?
Yep, that's great.
Okay, cool. So, that's the wrong way. So it's the state library documentation solution presentation. As I said, we will have a little bit of a demo time and a look at towards the end some other sorted integrations that we have. So, quick introduction of the company that we are. So we call Turtle Traction Limited. We are a boutique consultancy, and we specialize in full stack automations, obviously with SaltStack as a central part of the automation. Now, with full stack automation, we mean that we would like to get as low down to the bare metal, as it were, all the way up to the entry level of the customer. So the VMs, the middleware, the applications, and the entry points themselves. We are a SaltStack partner for EMEA. We have been such for several years now. No, 2016, I think, something like that. We work across EMEA. We are 100% online. We were that even before we were forced into this situation. We are the creators of the state library and the Atlassian plugins, which we call sorted integrations. Now, for the state library, what was the challenge? Okay, so going around to different customers and seeing different customers, small or big, sooner or later, all these, we find that we always have the same issue. So state files, they are super easy to write. Now, to document them is a different story. It's either is documented in the code, and since commonly, at least initially, a common standard is not used, if you're my age, you know, you very easily forget what you did two weeks ago. And not to speak on what someone else did 2 weeks ago. So there's another issue with Salt is that it's very difficult to get an overview of your state file estate. And with state file estate, I mean basically your file server, right? So in your file server, you have a whole lot of states, and they call all different pillars and grains and includes left, right, and center. And there's no easy way to get an overview of this, right? The third issue or challenge is a better word, is the duplication of functions. So, for instance, if we have a restart of a service, and we do this in maybe 10 different states, but we may do it in a different way, number one. Number two, why do we have to do it over and over again in all different states, instead of saying, okay, I would like to, this function is already there, I will just grab it from this state file, I will just include this state file and execute the functions like that. The fourth issue is the state files are only accessible on the command line or directly on the file server. Now, this may not be an issue for command line fiddlers that just sit and they know their state, they know their environment. But if we need to delegate the executions of states through another mean, we may not want operators, for instance, to have access to the command lines or even to the file servers to change the states files themselves. So if someone that is looking for restart a JBoss service, they may not want to go down to the file server to find that. So we have built a search function for that. So what we find the solution being is the state library, and the pun isn't intended. We think it's funny, at least I do, but you know, it's the state library, and with the features we wanted to provide a state file overview. We wanted to provide a searchable state file estate. We wanted to be able to extract values, right? So pillar values, grain values, includes. That's where we stop now. We could of course extract more, but this is what we have now. We wanted to make it available through a UI for easable search. So we created a Confluence integration, which we will take a look at today. For all command line fiddlers, we have a command line integration. You will see that it works similar to SysDoc. And somewhere in between, we have a standalone web interface. All of them come and suck out the same information from the state files. So as examples, this is what the command line interface looks like. So on your left-hand side, you see that the command TSL.list. This lists the state files, the state files. On the right, you have a TSL.doc. We will also look at this on the command line. But it's quite self-explanatory. We have a TSL.docs, which which pulls out the doc information from it. So the Confluence macro, it looks like this. Very simple. You have it will query your salt state. It will index it. It will present information from the state files, that the state list that you see on your left. Clicking on one of these, obviously you see the details on the right. Now, how is this? There's a prerequisite to this, of course, and you probably all are guessing it, that in order for this to work, we have a documentation syntax that needs to be added on top of all the state files, and that will then be extracted. Things like grains and pillars will still be extracted, but you won't have a way to present them, of course. Now, this, for the solution to work, you don't have to add it to all the state files at the same time, right? So commonly we add it to new state files and keep changing them over time. Okay. So normally I would take questions around about this time, but I think that we will just continue with go ahead with the demo, and then we can take questions afterwards, and I will roll back for any further explanation if required. Yeah. So demo time. Let's see. Let's first look at the. So I need to escape this one here. Share. If we do like this. Can you see that? Minimize that. Yeah, you can see that?
I don't.
No, you don't see it. Okay, so let's try that again. Let me see that again. Let's try that. How about now?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, cool. Okay, so quick walkthrough on the command line. So we have all our oops, maybe we should use the salt as well. That could be a good idea. What do you reckon? The TLS, of course, comes with the sysdoc. Sysdoc listing, as any module should. We get all the functions. I will demo some of them, not all of them, but we can start with, for example, TSL List, which we had also a picture of. So if I go here, I go and I replace this with TSL List, and I get a list of the states in my salt state estate. Okay, my state estate. So this is everything I have. So this is basically like doing a listing of what we have, right? Doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Now, how does it work? Okay, I've listed my files, and let's say that I want to do a doc listing of one of these extracted doc of one of these files. So let's see. Let's take this one. So I do a tsl.doc, exactly like sysdoc, and here I get information what this state is about. So here the important information is of course the the name of the state. Well, here is the path. This is the actual physical storage. It's the cache because this is coming from a Git file server. We have the pillars that have been extracted. The pillars that are used in here are extracted, so it's very easy to get an overview. Okay, these pillars, in order to write this, to run this, I have to make sure that these pillars are correct. So that avoids having to run, say, a show SLS and having to scroll down all the information that you have from the SLS output. So, oh, I'm missing this pillar, I'm missing that pillar, for instance. I'm the author of this one. The description is a manual input that we need to put in because I'm the only one that knows what it does is me, right? So this is a very simple description. The syntax here in this case is non-applicable, and this is something, this is also added. It is non-applicable because it doesn't have any, say, command line pillars, for instance, right? And that the command line pillars is something that then would have to be described in here.
Hey, Kristoffer?
Yeah?
There's just a request to increase the font size on the terminal, if you can.
Hola.
Just so that folks can...
Oh, so how do I do that? Here, maybe? Is that better? Or more?
I think it's better.
I can go more if you like. We can go to. Oops, wait. That's a little bit maybe too big.
Hey, no, it's great. I mean, if it works for you, it's great.
Okay, so yeah, that works for me. That's fine.
Thank you.
No problem. So I can rerun that so everyone can see. So what I did was first to list the state. I'd run a TSL list command here, and after that I selected one of my states, that is this state up here, and this I then run as a TSL.doc. Okay, so now it's a little bit easier to read. I apologize for not thinking about that earlier. Here we have the author, which is me. We have the state name, the actual file name. We have the pillars that are extracted. We have the description. Now, these three values here are automatically extracted and put in place. The author, description, and syntax are not. That's something that we need to add into the doc section manually, the person that has written the script, or sorry, the state. Okay, so fine. Yeah, but what if I would like to know which states start something, right? So I'm thinking about the service or anything like that. So what we have, so what I would like to do, what we normally would have to do, we have to go to our file server and we have to do a query on the file server itself to figure out all the, what is used where, and so on. And then in order to do that, you need to be able to read the code as well. So what we have done, we have created a search function. It's called TSL Search, quite simple. And I will search for start. So the syntax is very simple. So here I search for start. So now I'm searching any states that have the notion of start, right? So here you could even search for anything that you have in your states. So if this is now working, okay. I was scared about the demo effect there for a little bit, but phew, we just made it. So what this does is, so it goes through which not only in the state name, state file name, but also in the context, the content. So here we have, for instance, we have this file that contains start. Okay, and we can see, oh, this contains includes. All right, okay. So I wonder which includes this has. Okay, so we have then, apart from that, it gives you that in the search function. We have a function. If you know that you have includes in a file, you can do include. Oops, do like this, and then take this state file, and it will then give us which includes this word. We'll see that these here we can then go in and see how the files are related, right? Now, another example is pillars. Yeah, so we would like to know which pillars are used in a certain file, right? So we take this one, for example, and let's say that we say, as you probably have guessed, we'd go TSL pillars, and we use this one here. Oops, sorry. This file here. Okay, so here we get only the pillars, right? Of course we can do the same with grains. This is particularly useful if you have a long listing of them, right? So if we go for grains, we can look at or we can see like this. We do a search and see where Apache is used, right? It's a little bit slow today. It's probably the distance between Europe and Salt Lake City. Okay, so here we say, okay, for Apache, that is actually, so here we have the state files. So we can see Apache is used in these files. Okay, let's see if the web server has any grains. Right? Be surprised, it just might have grains in it. And lo and behold, it uses the grain OS. So this is then a way where we can easily see black and white. Okay, instead of going in to read the code, I can see, okay, for this state, it's running that. Okay, great. It's black and white. It's very accessible. So, okay, so this is the command line fiddler solution that I prefer, to be honest. But I also sometimes get lazy, and lazy in the sense that, wow, isn't it nice to have a GUI? So on the GUI side, we have if I do like this, can you see that?
Confluence?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Great.
So I'll minimize this one. This is a little bit slower because it's a local installation, so we have to be a bit more patient with the little circle. So in Confluence, we have something. It's called the Confluence macro, and a macro is like for those of you that are not, it's an extension to Confluence. So we can see here, this is an admin page, and we can see here on the left This is where we connect to our Salt backend. It requires a Salt API connection to be running. And in order to add this, it's really quite simple. So I have a space here that we have SaltConf 2020. Right, so I would go in here and I would create a page, and this is something you only really have to do once, really, right? I create a blank page here. I have to give it a name. So this is SaltConf 2020 or 20 presentation. And here I will go in and I will list out the macros. So we have the full content, and if you look for external content here, we will see that we have the TSL macro. Click insert, publish the page. We publish the page, and here we now have exactly what we had on the command line, but we have it visible in the GUI interface. So we have the listings. We can, of course, search. We can, exactly the same way we did previously, we can, when we click on one of the links here, which is of course the web the state file, we get the same listings that we did on the command line. So here you have a graphical representation of your, well, you have a graphical listing of your file state. So no need to go into any file server backends or anything like that. Everything is contained here. So this is very helpful for someone that is just joining a team to get the overview of what is the state, or what for someone that is not used to running or writing states, they can simply say, okay, we have a state like this, I will just reuse it, or I will just execute it. Yeah. Of course, here in the same way we have the pillars as expected. We can also have the OSS and so forth. If there's a missing section, we get a general error that we have a missing doc section. This is quite, if you haven't started from the beginning, you will have this over time while you're adding the doc sections. So here, okay, so that concludes the demo for the state library. Now, so let's see. Now, to another part of an integration that we do. So I will try to share this again here. So can you all see that?
Yes, salted integrations.
Okay, cool. So another thing that we like to do, I mean, we love Salt, it's great, but we also like to expand the power of Salt. So we like to integrate it to other tools. And one of those integrations it is with Atlassian, Jira, and Atlassian Bamboo. Okay, so here, unfortunately, we will not have a demo. I'm happy to give a demo of this to any of you or at some other time, but I will just show you some screenshots. But what it gives you is that we can run any, actually it says state file here. It can run any state file. We can run any execution module or any runner, including, of course, the orchestration, directly from within Jira and Bamboo. Okay, so what does this mean, right? I think a picture says more than 1,000 words. So if we look directly into Jira, okay, so imagine that you have a workflow in Jira. For those of you that are not familiar with Jira, it's an issue management tool, but it's also greatly used for service automation, like service desks and this kind of stuff. So let's say that someone is, we have a workflow that is restarting an HTTP server. So all we have to do is that we need to add a transition within the Jira workflow that is called restart to service. This could be restart to service, run this orchestration to create a full environment with Salt Cloud, orchestrate the build of or the deployment of a whole full stack if you wanted to do. The sky is really the limit here, because everything you can do in Salt you can call from within Jira, which means that you can build your state, you can build your orchestration, and then you can say, okay, now I don't want to sit there and press the button to every time someone sends me an email or gives me a ticket in Jira. I can say, okay, I will create a workflow for this or a ticket type for this, and say, okay, all I need to do is to make this available in the self-service desk, and people will say, okay, I would like to restart this HTTP. Great. They will go and do that using the states or the execution modules that you have defined for them. And this, of course, then goes into all the access control and workflow approvals that Jira offers. So it's a way to automate by using the power of SaltStack. So now, if a service is then restarted, we get the return back in the log. So we have full traceability when the service was restarted, who did it. In fact, it was me, right? But who approved it if we wanted to. This is all in there. So you can then get a full traceability of what is through the self-service portal. So the same power you get from within Atlassian Bamboo. So we call it Salted Bamboo. Bamboo is a CI/CD platform, also by Atlassian, and it is built on tasks. And so, for instance, when someone checks in some code in Git or Bitbucket, whatever it may be, we can have a pipeline which is a set of tasks that does something on systems. So, for instance, say that we would like to build a code, a code base, and we would also like to have that tested on some integration service. We can build this integration service by using, if we already have it in Salt, we just plug into Salt with the task and execute it from within the Bamboo workflow. And it would then look something like this. For example, we manage them as normal Bamboo tasks with all the dependencies there might be. And in this example here, we say, okay, we want to run a Salt orchestration that we configure a full website. So whatever is behind this orchestration is then executed directly from within Bamboo. Of course, the output, I don't have a picture of that, but the output will go directly into the logs of that job. And with that, that concludes my session here today. So I would like to thank you for your time. Again, we are Turtle Traction Limited. I'm Kristoffer, and I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you for listening, but also thank you very much for the team behind Turtle Traction and all the collaborators that we have. Great, and customers, not to be forgotten. Thank you. So I think we can open up for questions, Dave. Yeah, so I don't know how we open up for questions now.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have a question, please put it into the chat here. Okay, here we go. You'll probably see this too, Kristoffer, from Brian D'Souza. Says the Salt and Jira integration looks awesome. Very recently, Atlassian announced the end of support for the service line of products, including Jira Server. Any thoughts on supporting Jira Cloud in the future?
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for that feedback also. Yes, definitely. We would love to, and we will support Jira Cloud. Now, most of our customers, they have Jira Server, right? That's why we went for that. So they have it integrated within their ecosystem. We are already starting to work on the Jira Cloud, and as soon as we have the ability, we will roll it out there as well. I mean, we are always, everything is moving to cloud. Cloud is better, but it's different. And so we choose to start on server first, because that way we can offer it to our existing customers. But we will definitely go for Jira Cloud.
Awesome. Yeah, he says they're in the same boat with Jira Server. All right, question from Philip. This is great integration, Kristoffer. How is the search implemented? Is it possible to use regex?
At the moment, no. It would be possible with the very small change. And thank you, Philip, by the way. So right now it just takes the search term and it puts it into a regex in the code. That's it. But we could use very easily. We could happily to put in that you can use much more advanced search terms. I will put that onto our backlog, in fact.
Perfect. So I guess a question for me is, all of these integrations are, part of the consultancy of Turtle Traction, right? As far as that you're offering, is there anything else? I mean, is this pretty unique as far as the integrations with Atlassian, or are there?
We are as far as I know, well, we are the only one offering a Salt integration on the Atlassian marketplace. They have an approval process. We are going through that approval process. The bamboo, salted bamboo, is already available on the marketplace. Thank you very much. I forgot to mention that. Salted Jira will be available within a few days. Depending on Atlassian to press the button, and the same should be for the state library. That's the plan. But there's nothing, to my knowledge, there's nothing like this on the market for Atlassian.
Okay. But they're on the marketplace, like the Confluence macro. These are things that people can check out already.
So the salted bamboo is there. Salted Jira is not. But there we have, this is also internal, so it's not publicly available yet. But if someone wants to check it out, just ping me and we will make that happen.
Awesome. That is great. I give a few more moments in case there's a question that comes up.
Sure.
Both at SaltStack and now at VMware, we are using Confluence and Jira, so I think that's going to be something that resonates with a lot of people and organizations. All right, Thomas Elmer, you see this?
Yes, Thomas, we have thought about that. Definitely. So there's several different ways of doing that, but we definitely have thought about that. And if you, we have thought about if you, for example, if you have a standard map file, maybe we think, okay, well, if you have a standardized map file and these values are across your board, maybe we can define that somewhere. And it's definitely something we've thought about, for sure.
Other, not a question, but some praise. This looks really cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Much appreciated. Really.
Awesome. Well, things are maybe winding down. Kristoffer, I know it's evening over there in Italy, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's already dark outside.
Yeah.
But that's fine. But if there's no other questions, thank you so much for listening, and thank you for someone else just entered, but I'm not sure if it's that. But otherwise, it's thank you for listening, and yeah.
Yeah. So I believe all these are being recorded automatically. I expect that we'll see these on YouTube or a different platform in the future. So if you caught the last half, if you came late, then be sure to make a note to look for this when we post it. And Kristoffer, thanks so much for being here, and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. I'm the one to thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Bye-bye.
Thanks for everyone for watching this. Take care.
Take care. Bye.